My name is Hardeep, and I'm a Learn to Upgrade from the management team here. And this initiative of Career Talks has been taken for helping the attendees to get a better opportunity and insight from the experts about the career talks that we want to do present. We will be doing this on every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and we're bringing new topics and new experts will be discussing about this various skill sets that are required to get a job. Because of this pre-COVID and the post-COVID aspect, we are trying to build around uh, and try to increase the employability as our mission is. So I love to have. I'm Hardeep Singh, and I love to get the student insight and love to have the entrepreneurship side or the corporate side insights and try to develop those skill set among the students and create the awareness. And then the students are become more employability. That's our mission. So um, we are trying to upskill the person's employability so that they can get a more employment opportunities. Uh, as I said, it's an industrial experience. We'll bring a lot of industrial people on this platform so that they can speak about the skill sets that the industries are required. And we'll also try to train you on those skill sets so that you can get a better job opportunities. So as Robert Allen said that it's everything is theoretical, impossible until you have done it. So the more practical aspect of it will lead to you get a better job opportunities. So you have to do some project submissions or some recommendations from the faculty members, so that they this increase your authority in this domain. So we have already launched a lot of computer courses like computer in life science cycle and drugs, like computer-aided drug design, stem cell, genetic engineering, nanobioscience, and many other courses. We have already launched on our platform, so you can just see and whatever skill set you have. We are also tied with internship with Make Intern, where students can apply on these internship platforms to get their internship projects. This will be a micro jobs as well as the fresher jobs, which we're trying to build with this Make Intern organization. And on this platform, you're able to apply for a lot of internship opportunities, and you can also interact with a lot of other startups which are there. So we are bringing the Make Intern is helping us to bring a lot of biosciences startup opportunities for students. So today now I'll let speaker of this is Jitesh Doshi, and he is a bioinformatics consultant, and he's working with us with for a long time, and he will give you a better insight on what are the perspective in biosciences in the field of bioinformatics and healthcare. Uh, Thank you, Jitesh, and I'll request you to take forward from here the conversation, and we can go ahead with this.
All right. Thank you so much, Hardeep. Thanks a lot for this. All right. So I'll share my screen. I think. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So hello, everyone. And thank you so lot, Hardeep, for giving me this opportunity to talk to the students and other participants regarding this particular very interesting topic of how to go about, building a good career in these times, especially in the domain like life sciences. Hi everyone, my name is Jitesh Doshi, and I'm a bioinformatician working in a startup called BioInsert Solutions, as well as I've been a part of mentorship program in Learn to Upgrade, as well as McKinton for some time now. And it's been a really wonderful journey to interact with so many different students of various backgrounds and discussing or interacting with them about their future goals. With this, let's just quickly go about learning about the opportunities in this field and what kind of skill sets are necessary, the way the things are changing very quite fast actually. So life sciences or biosciences are especially very comprehensive sciences. I mean, they talk about everything right from the specific biomolecules at the very atomistic level to the entire ecosystems which encompass almost every living organism on this earth, and in between whatever comes, like from the cells to the tissues to the organs to different organisms, and finally the ecosystem. So the scope of this field has been really big, and you don't really need much more motivation to get into this particular field apart from a general mere curiosity towards the life and appreciation of the complexity of life forms that we have. And as and when every other field is changing in different times, even life sciences have transformed very significantly in last several years, and now that pace of changing again has taken up a lot of speed. So when we talk about these changes which are happening in this biological sciences, there are some very distinctive characteristics that we can point out over here. The very first thing is, in earlier days, biological sciences used to be looked at as a simple qualitative sciences with very descriptive textbooks, very huge jargon which was difficult to remember, very difficult terminologies. But that has changed now. The biological sciences are transforming into more of a quantitative and database sciences rather than just being qualitative in nature. Interdisciplinary nature of these is something more important. Now the boundaries between many different disciplines of sciences are slowly dissolving and making it kind of, very interdisciplinary in nature, allowing you to explore more horizons into these fields. What major change has happened in almost every industry today, not just the biological sciences, but almost every industry, is the data-driven transformations. Over the years and years of information processing, researches, experimentation, there is now so much of data available out there that we need some definitive sciences to work upon and get some good insights from this particular data that we have. That's where the big data is being a very important part of the biology in this new uh, transformations which are happening over here. And of course, when we talk about these digital systems or digital platforms are now more common than they were earlier. So the role of computers is very inevitable in all aspects of our life going forward from here. Again, biological sciences, which earlier used to be looked at experimental or field-based sciences, also now depend to a very greatest extent on a computational studies and computational research, which we'll be talking about in a little bit while. So the analytics or analysis of this data to kind of create new hypotheses, create new knowledge, or discover something new is an integral part of any biological experimentation or study from in these days. Apart from these, within the biology changes which are happening, the new interdisciplinary nature and new techniques which are being employed also allowing us to have cross-domain opportunities. Earlier, we were utilizing the techniques from many different fields like computer science, mathematics, statistics for the research in biological sciences. But now with the advent of technology, the biotechnology, which is being growing very fast, uh, now these technologies from biological systems can be employed in other researches. Like for example, there is biocomputing or DNA computing, which is coming up, the biofuels, which are kind of changing the way we have our transportations in place. There are various kinds of algae which are used for generation of electricity. The experiments are going on. So now we are stepping out of that biological domain and going into the other fields for better opportunities in this. And another important factor over here is that the speed at which these transformations are happening, we really need to catch up with a very important skill set, which is core to these techniques and transformations. Basically, the adaptability is what is very much required when you're going to step out of your educational system and go to the real world for getting a job, for solving the problems, for doing the research or anything. So you need to adapt to these changes because these are happening very fast. And the technological advances which are happening along with the development in the field itself are also very important in this scenario. So with this, basically, what kind of skill set is more required today? Uh, of course, the traditional and the conventional biological systems are in place, but now they are being upgraded with so many different types of technologies. So what kind of things we can basically make use of in order to get better at these things and get better job opportunities into this very kind of busy market of biosciences. So very first of all, the programming, which is specifically for biologists, is a very integral part of these digital transformation. As I mentioned, many of the things that we used to earlier do in the laboratory are now being done or replaced by the computer software or computer programs. So many of these experiments we do a priori on the computer. Once we have a set results or optimized parameters, only then we step into the laboratory and focus on those experiments. And for doing this, one of the most important challenges, how do we communicate with the computers? How do we communicate our understandings, our knowledge with the computer systems? And the most important way of doing that is a programming language. When you are expecting yourself to be more familiar with the computers, you have to know at least some language with which you will be able to communicate. For example, Python, R, Java, these are some of the most common languages that you might have heard of. And all of these languages have a very specific subdomains like BioPython, BioJava, Bioconductor in R. So these are specific packages in these languages which allow you to explore the biological data. They allow you to kind of talk to the computer through your language of biology and make it much more comfortable communication between you. So going forward from here, whether you are doing an experimental studies, whether you are doing the field-based observation studies, learning at least one programming language is going to be absolutely important. And this is something every graduate student should know. Somehow, our curriculum or education system still is not there where they have incorporated these things into their system. But then when you get to the job market, people expect you to have these skills because that's how you automate or run your daily jobs, analyze the data that is in huge quantity, not just some small numbers, but huge quantity of data is produced every day. So you need to learn about these techniques to be able to manage your research or any industry job in this field. The second set of techniques, when we talk about the huge quantity of data, automatically the analytics comes into picture. How do we analyze this data? How do we look or dig through this data and come up with some useful insights? So to make sense of your data that comes from various experiments, is an important step to learn about the advanced statistics which runs our data analytics pipelines. So learning about various kinds of tests which can be employed to your data, analytics methods which are there. Machine learning or AI is now again a very big part of this transformation. So learning about those statistical learning techniques and employing them to your already existing biological data sets is an important task. So learning about these statistical things like biostatistics in specifically is an important skill set that will drive you towards better opportunities in the future. And even the way that we do experiments in biology have changed a lot. Now, rather than focusing on one single gene or a few genes at a time, people have so much of accessibility for technologies which can work with thousands and thousands of genes at the same time. Again, because of these advances in technology, the data which is produced is enormous, and again, the cycle continues. You will have to come back to the programming or statistical analysis to be able to make sense of those data. So the new technologies which are available, like next generation sequencing technology, that is genomic technology, the computer-aided drug discovery, which is helping pharmaceutical companies reduce the cost and time which goes into the entire drug discovery pipeline, CRISPR genome editing technologies, protein engineering. These are some of the advanced techniques with which we are changing the way we do our experiments. And to learn about these techniques, again, it's a very important task to be updated and familiar with these techniques, because when you go into that industry for efficiency, nobody's going to use some older techniques that you have learned in your normal curriculum. So you have to be updated with these advanced techniques, how they work, how they function, what kind of data is generated, how it is formatted, and how can we use different languages or statistical methods to make sense out of that data. So these three domains are going to be extremely important skill set for any life science graduate or biology graduate to be able to grab some very good opportunities which are available in the market in the digital biology. So with this, we all know that, okay, when you are coming from a biological background or any scientific background for that matter, you know that, okay, there are these three different paths that we can take. Either we can go in the research path, we can do our PhD, postdoctoral fellowship and do research, or we can work as a researcher in either contract research organization or in some universities. You can take academic path where you can be a lecturer or a professor and teach different students about these different sciences. And there is a third path of industry where you will be entering the corporate world and employing your knowledge and skills to be able to do that. That's conventional. But now the way things are happening, and the way I said the boundaries are being broken down or dissolved, you can have more paths rather than these conventional. So thinking about these unconventional path is an important aspect of your job market and searching for jobs. For example, now you can mix the academics and the research and go into the academic research or educational technologies and transform the way we train or teach or create material for students for changing generations. You can mix and match the academic and industry and work upon, training, taking some workshops or mentoring for the people who are from industry on a very specific domains, or help them transition into the new sciences, especially the people who are already like established into the biological domain. They do require some handholding at the start when they want to transition themselves from their earlier kinds of experiments to the more of a digital world. And definitely you can contribute there as and also make a career out of these things. Then at the interface of research and industry, definitely the startup market and the way consultancy firms are growing, you can definitely contribute there. You can provide research as a service, as it's already happening in many fields. In the biological field as well, you can provide research as a service, and provide this necessary consultancy services to various research institutes and various scientists working in the field. So by understanding this all kind of complex nature, you definitely will be able to go about and learn more about these techniques and have better understanding of the job market or job scenarios. Now, when it comes to actually getting or finding the jobs in this market, how can we prepare ourselves? Where do we search what these kind of jobs with these skill sets which are already there? Once we learn about them, once we do some kind of courses, how do we go about searching them? All of us know about these common search engines like LinkedIn, Google Job Search, or in India specifically, Biotechnica has been there for a long time, providing services and job opportunities in the biological domain. But apart from that, there are very specific type of job portals which we can access to learn about new opportunities, to learn about accessing these cross-domain opportunities that we have talked about, which are, for example, the science careers, nature careers. We have doll pages specifically for the scholarship and research related jobs. Then we have ResearchGate, which is specifically for the research oriented and research industry oriented jobs which are there. So these can be accessed, searched, and then talked about in this future job markets. Now, I'll be addressing some of the questions which commonly come across from many students which are going to get into this job market. And one of the question is that when they search online, basically online is the way to go from here onwards. So when they search online, often they don't get the jobs that they want, or they find that there are very less opportunities available. So one of the thing which matters here is the way you search for the jobs. Biological domain is a very sensitive domain. There are so many aspects of it. It's a very multifaceted domain. And often what happens, in the job descriptions, especially the title which is given to the job is often very different from what the job description actually demand. So when you search by just a name of certain topic or certain domain, you may not really find those opportunities. But there could be many other job descriptions available with exactly what you're looking for, but a very different, unrelated title. It is again happening because of the interdisciplinary nature of these fields which are happening. So what I usually suggest for these kind of question is, when you are going to start looking for the jobs in the particular market, start making a list of common buzzwords, trending words in your field or in your domain of expertise. Make a list of different skill sets that you have acquired over the time through your curriculum, as well as the extracurricular activities. And then for all of those words or buzzwords that you have listed down, do individual searches plus by using some Boolean operators, and you will definitely come across many more job opportunities in your field. So then after you do that, you can definitely read more about the job description and get clear understanding of what is exactly required. So just to give you an example, my area of expertise is basically CAD, or computer aided drug discovery. That's what I work in. Now, when you will go online and search for jobs in computer aided drug design, you will be using some common terms like CAD jobs or computer aided drug discovery jobs or computer aided drug design jobs, something like that, or simply drug design, drug discovery. And often you will find that no, you're not getting much opportunities in this. The reason is the CAD is again a multifaceted subject, and there are many different stages into that. So why don't you break it down into smaller things? So for example, one much important aspect of CAD is the chemoinformatics. It's basically a field which deals with studying of chemical information on computers by using informatics approach or statistical approach. So when you search by chemoinformatics jobs or chemoinformatics scientist or computational chemist, you will get more opportunities. Going forward, the way these transformations are happening based on the data, these are given new names according to whatever conventions and contemporary uh, things which are going around. So for example, now these drug discovery is rather called as a discovery research, not just the drug discovery. So when you search by discovery research, you will in fact find much better jobs onto these portals, which will fetch you more things. So same applies to any of the biological domain that you expertise in. You search by creating a list of different buzzwords or keywords and search by those, which will definitely fetch you more job opportunities, and then you can apply according to the description and the skill set that you have. So this basically kind of a very brief introduction to how you can go about it. Now, answering some of the common questions before we take more questions is that many times the problem which happens is that filling that gap when you come out of your training curriculum education and when you're about to join a company, there is a small gap which needs to be filled out. Exactly how do we understand the entire life cycle of those things which work in an industrial setup or in a research setup or in an academic setup? Any path you choose, it is going to have a completely different requirements of what skill set you need to know. So for example, when you go to any industry for applying for a job, the skill set that will be much more appropriate is learning about managing many things at once, learning about the statistical things that tests that you can perform for better clarity of your results. When you're going for the research, you need to know about different languages, how the research methodology work. When you go for academics, what are the new types of pedagogical tools available, how the educational technology is transforming, and what new can be added to this kind of things. So it depends on where you're landing. So always kind of get an idea about these things before you step into the market, and I think that will definitely help you all in going ahead. So that's, I think, all from my side for now. If there are any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below, or just drop an email to Learn to Upgrade and get more clarity about how these courses are available, where the availability of these courses are, how can we get hold of them. So we'll definitely be happy to help you all, and thank you so much. All right.
Well, great. Jitesh, just a short questions that I already have with some students.
Right, yeah,
Uh,
please.
First question is when is the right time to start these courses, during the academic sessions or after the academic sessions? Like what?
So, all right, that's a good question, really. When exactly is a good time to start? So, according to me, the good time to start about these courses, just when you're about to get out of, like, probably your last semester, because in many academic courses that we have, especially for example, say master courses. So, the last semester is intended for your project work or thesis work. So, that is the time when you can explore and relate that, fill that gap that I was talking about. When you're doing a thesis, you can learn about these new technologies, try to employ them right there on your project, because project is something definitely can help you gain more insights into whatever it is. So when you're just about to get out of your college or degree courses, that last few months are very critical to gain insights into these courses and learn about them. uh, and of course, if you are planning to definitely transition into these new technologies and all, you can spend more time after you graduate or after you finish the courses, so you have much more confidence and kind of familiarity with these things before you apply. So yeah.
And what about the system requirements? Any requirements they have to have a pre-fill like a laptop or a software licensing the need for this course?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, nowadays we definitely have, everybody has a computer and a laptop access because we are living in a digital age, and that's how we work. So definitely for most of these studies that we have mentioned here, our decent enough common laptops and desktops are pretty much efficient in performing most of the things. And second aspect of this, a good thing about all of these objects, all of these subjects is that there are both kinds of software available, free and open sources, which will help you in your early
Okay.
stages of career, learning about these technologies, techniques, analyzing the data. So there are plenty of open source softwares available. You just need a right training to be able to use them in a correct fashion. And those are definitely work on most of your common platforms. And of course, when you enter the industrial setup, you will get access to probably the commercial software suites and all, but at start you don't need it. You have freely available and accessible software. The only problem of these freely available software is that you need someone to guide you or train you, and that's where this training will definitely kind of help you, because those are made in such a way that they are result oriented. They give you the results, but the usability depends on who and what group or what researcher have written that particular software. So yeah, that's about the softwares and requirement for computation. You don't require really big computers as such, at least for the initial stages of your studies.
Right.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. And so is there any opportunities outside India, or are the companies within India also looking for these kind of professionals?
Absolutely, yes, yes. So that's a really good question. Opportunities within India and outside India. Well, when you talk about many developed countries, definitely there are a lot of opportunities, especially, for example, United States of America is something where the bioinformatics or computational transformation biology have been pioneered for a long time and are growing very, very significantly. So it's a very good market. Then many European countries like Germany, they host a plethora of pharmaceutical companies which provide you good opportunities in the area of, for example, computer-aided drug design and discovery. So yes, there are opportunities. And now even within India, many companies are transitioning themselves into these computational sciences. So for example, let's take an example of few pharmaceutical companies. So I remember that a few years back, there's a company called Sun Pharmaceuticals. So we had a collaborative project where they were outsourcing their computational work to us. But now that these companies themselves are developing their own computational domains into their research and development unit, and so most of the Indian companies are also now coming into this computational market, and opportunities are ever growing, especially in the two fields, the genomics field, where you learn about the genome and the analysis of genomic data, and the computer-aided drug discovery field. Both of these major fields of bioinformatics are having good opportunities both in India as well as outside of India.
Right. And what about the students who do not have the idea of this programming code before? Is that easy for them to join these courses, or is there some difficulty level they have to clear?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
I am just saying that if there is a possibility the person who is do not coming from a coding background, so will he able to
Hmm.
do these courses, or they have some problems?
No, absolutely not. Actually, because you are coming from a basic, like most of the students which will be taking this course are coming from a pure biology or biosciences background. Of course, they will not be having this kind of background for coding or programming. So the
Right.
first step will be to get your foundations correct and transitioning you slowly and gradually towards the programming, and with relevant examples, with relevant data which comes from the biological experiments. So when you are able to actually relate to these, it becomes easier to transition into that. But absolutely, for these courses, you don't require to have this background a priori.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. That seems that we can. These questions will help the students to gain more knowledge.
Yeah,
And thank you
definitely.
for so wonderful insights. And we'll be sharing some other questions as the students will asking with us, and
Yes,
then response on our platform. And
absolutely.
we will discuss more on these topics and help students to get more of the insight of the real world. Thank you very much
Definitely.
for your time.